market.
Yeah, well, the Dynamite Award, I looked at that list, and I think the winner should have been the Black and Scholes, who came up with the options volatility formula. This harkens back to the early 1970s. You talk about the Business Roundtable. Right. It was started in 1972. The U.S. closed the gold window in 1971. Then you had the options volatility formula, thanks to Black and Scholes, beginning of listed options, which was the beginning of the derivatives market, which gave birth to the she-devil and horrendous monsters from the derivatives deep of Hank Paulson, Alan Greenspan, Timothy Geithner. And don't forget, we've got now Cantor Fitzgerald down there on Wall Street. They're going to introduce box office futures contracts. This will be the next thing to blow up after the dot-com blew up, the real estate blew up, long-term capital management blew up. And of course, every time it blows up, they keep all the fees as part of their extraction of wealth, and the public keeps all of the losses, which brings me to my next question, this whole idea of redistribution. Because people in America say, well, you can't redistribute wealth, that's socialism. But we're not talking about redistributing wealth, we're talking about redistributing risk. Why are the people who take all these risks not the ones who suffer the consequences if the risks go bad? What about redistribution of risk? Is this ever going to happen?
It's not going to happen. It's like trickle-down economics. It just doesn't happen. The money never trickles down. Look at bank lending right now. The bailout was supposed to increase bank lending. They're not lending anything. You know, if you look at the concentration of wealth, look at the success of the Business Roundtable. When they started, CEOs made $25 for every $1 the average worker made. Today, with stock options and incentives, CEOs now make $500 for every $1 the average worker makes.
Right, and this whole notion of earning, of course, and making, it's a misnomer because they're not actually contributing anything to the production and the savings of the country. All they're doing is taking these outrageous bets of which they're taking zero risk. Now, what about the two-party system in America, Democrats and Republicans? Is this just a charade?
Ultimately, it is a charade, and it's not some secret conspiracy. It's all out in the open. I mean, just look at campaign finance. 90% of the time, the candidate who simply spends more money wins the election, okay? 90% of our elected officials have the Business Roundtable to thank because those companies primarily funded their campaigns. So they bend over backwards to do whatever the Roundtable wants. I mean, this is all out in the open. This isn't some secret, you know, and getting back into the market really quick, I mean, free market capitalism is done. I mean, it's just finished. This is straight up criminal activity. This is what Americans really need to understand that they're not getting through their television set, okay? Trillions of dollars in stolen money, criminal activity. I mean, this is straight up mafia rule. This is ridiculous. I mean, the American people, 99% of the population, has to come together and take action because, it's like the house is on fire and you're sitting around waiting for the fire department to come put it out. But the fire department are the same people who put your house on fire, and they're not coming.
Well, yeah, but to come together to fight this, though, I mean, if you contrast this with what we see in countries like Greece, for example, in a country like Greece, they were never able to destroy the unions and the social fabric. So when it's time for the public to rise up, stage some kind of insurrection to take back their government for a regime change, there's still some infrastructure in place to do so. But since the 1980s and since Reagan in America, there's a notion that workers are bad, speculators are good, savings is bad, speculating is good. And so now, when it comes time to take back their government, there's no infrastructure for that anywhere left in America. The unions have been destroyed in favor of speculating on house prices. Now the house prices have been destroyed. So what you've got left is just a population of donut-chomping sloths who watch celebrity-driven TV. I mean, go ahead.
Everyone's confused. They're all off. They don't know what's going on, really. So that's why I try and bring everything together in this book to demonstrate statistically, factually, that this is occurring. We've been attacked. And look, we are 99% of the population. Yeah, we don't have the infrastructure to fight back. It's been decimated over the past 30, 40 years. I understand that with unions and everything like that. But still, we are 99% of the population. If we can get our act together here, we can take back this country. We can restore a rule of law and like real democracy in this country once again. We can do this. And there's simple, obvious ways to do it. You know, I mean, laws on campaign finance, which are going in the wrong direction thanks to this rigged Supreme Court 5-4 ruling, okay? But campaign finance, lobbying, you know, we have to stop the closed door lobbying. These are all election reform as far as electronic voting machines, okay, the ES&S has almost a complete control over our vote counting. You know, in 2000, the Democrats thought Bush stole the election. In 2008, a lot of Republicans thought, Obama stole the election. The reason why people think the election's stolen is because nobody knows who voted for who. Well, there's no auditable paper trail. I mean, it's absolutely absurd. If we just get rid of these absurd things, and if we have to start voting for third parties, we got to stop voting for Republicans and Democrats.
You're the author of The Economic Elite versus the People of the United States of America. It's an excellent book. It's a must-read book. Thanks so much for being on the Keiser Report.
Thank you, Max. I appreciate it. You do great.